Have you ever wondered why Greece didn't become a part of the Eastern Bloc? It's a fascinating question, isn't it? Today we're going to explore this intriguing historical query. Understanding the ebb and flow of historical events can shed light on the world we live in today, and this topic is no exception. So, buckle up as we embark on a journey to uncover the geopolitical factors and historical happenings that answer the question. In this video, we will delve into the historical events and geopolitical factors that explain why Greece did not become a part of the Eastern Bloc. To understand Greece's unique position, we first need to understand what the Eastern Bloc was. The Eastern Bloc, also known as the Communist Bloc, was a group of socialist states under the influence of the Soviet Union during the Cold War. This bloc was formed post-World War II, around the mid-20th century, in Central and Eastern Europe. The countries in the Eastern Bloc were essentially satellite states of the Soviet Union. They included nations like Poland, East Germany, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Albania, among others. These nations were bound together by a common political ideology, that of communism, under the leadership of the Soviet Union. Now let's look at Greece. Geographically, Greece is located in southeastern Europe, on the southern end of the Balkan Peninsula. This places it quite close to several Eastern Bloc countries, like Bulgaria and Albania. But geography isn't the only factor that determines a country's political alliances. In fact, despite its proximity to the Eastern Bloc, Greece has had historical ties with Western Europe that go way back. In ancient times, Greece was considered the birthplace of Western civilization. Its contributions to philosophy, arts, politics, and sciences laid the groundwork for Western intellectual thought. In more recent history, Greece has been part of the Western sphere of influence, particularly after its independence from the Ottoman Empire in the early 19th century. The country became a member of NATO, a primarily Western alliance in the mid-20th century, further strengthening its ties with the West. Greece's political alliances were also influenced by its historical conflicts. The country's long-standing tensions with its northern neighbor Turkey, a NATO member, complicated its relationship with the Eastern Bloc. Additionally, Greece had a turbulent political history during the 20th century, with periods of monarchy, dictatorship, and democracy, which also impacted its international affiliations. To sum up, despite its geographical proximity to the Eastern Bloc, Greece's historical ties and political alliances placed it closer to the West. This unique positioning of Greece, straddling the boundary between East and West, played a significant role in shaping its trajectory during the Cold War era, which we will explore in more detail in the next scenes. The Greek Civil War played a significant role in Greece's political trajectory. This tumultuous period, stretching from 1946 to 1949, was a time when Greece found itself torn between two ideological poles, the Western capitalist democracies and the communist Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union. After World War II, Greece was in ruins. The economy was shattered, and the political landscape was deeply divided. The Greek Communist Party, backed by the neighboring communist states and the Soviet Union, sought to seize this moment, aiming to establish a communist state in Greece. Meanwhile, the Western countries, particularly the United States and the United Kingdom, were alarmed at the prospect of Greece falling into the Soviet sphere of influence. They saw Greece as a crucial buffer zone against communist expansion in Europe. This led to their support for the Greek government, both politically and economically, through the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan. They provided military assistance, financial aid, and political backing to the Greek government, which was largely composed of conservative and right-wing factions. The Greek Civil War was brutal. It was a war of attrition marked by guerrilla warfare, mass atrocities, and a deeply divided society. The conflict was characterized not only by the battle between the government and communist insurgents, but also by the ideological struggle between the West and the East. It was, in many ways, a proxy war, a reflection of the larger Cold War that was unfolding on the global stage. The war ended in 1949 with the defeat of the communist forces. The victory of the Western-backed government had profound implications for Greece's political alignment. It solidified Greece's position within the Western Bloc and marked a decisive rejection of Soviet influence. Greece's post-war trajectory was thus shaped by the outcome of the Greek Civil War. Its alignment with the West, its commitment to democratic principles, and its resistance to communist influence were all outcomes of this critical period. The Greek Civil War ended with the victory of the Western-backed government, further cementing Greece's alignment with the West. The Cold War period further solidified Greece's alignment with the West. As the world split into two ideological spheres, Greece found itself on the side of the Western democracies, largely due to historical, geopolitical, and ideological factors. During the Cold War, Greece was a crucial player in the global chess game between the United States and the Soviet Union. Its strategic location in the Eastern Mediterranean made it a valuable ally for the West, providing a critical buffer against the Eastern Bloc. In 1949, as the Greek Civil War ended, Greece was left devastated and needed help to rebuild. The United States stepped in with the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, providing financial and military aid to Greece. This help was instrumental in rebuilding the country and also pulled Greece closer to the Western Bloc. In 1952, Greece became a member of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This was a significant step, as it formally aligned Greece with the Western democracies and provided a guarantee of security against the potential threat of Soviet expansion. Being a part of NATO not only cemented Greece's ties with the West, but also further distanced it from the Eastern Bloc. Greece's relationship with the Eastern Bloc was complex and often tense during the Cold War. While there were periods of détente and cooperation, Greece's commitment to the West and its ideological divergence with the Communist bloc often led to strained relations. Despite the geopolitical pressures and internal struggles, Greece managed to maintain its democratic system throughout the Cold War. It was a beacon of democracy in a region often overshadowed by the ideological battle between capitalism and communism. Throughout the Cold War, Greece remained a staunch ally of the West, firmly placing it outside of the Eastern Bloc. This alignment was not just based on geopolitical necessity, but also on shared values and a common vision of a free and democratic world. Values that continue to shape Greece's path to this day. So why didn't Greece become a part of the Eastern Bloc? Well, it boils down to key historical events and political factors. Greece's participation in the Greek Civil War and its strategic location during the Cold War were significant. The country's Western alliances and internal resistance against communist ideologies also played a pivotal role. The complex interplay of history, geography, and politics explains why Greece didn't become a part of the Eastern Bloc. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button if you found this video informative and interesting. Stay tuned for more historical explorations in our next video.